the eyes up. So they got to have good enough skill that you can get your eyes up. You don't have to look at the puck, right? But how do you get so that people scan the ice and actually know what their options are instead of all of a sudden someone's got you and now you're going to pass a puck, and real common thing in youth hockey is this blind backhand pass.
Yeah.
So I think that's a real challenge. Not only carrying the puck, but carrying the puck and know what your second play is.
How do you teach keeping your head up and your eyes up?
Well, I think again, you can do this stuff with your fingers and all that with no opposition. But I really believe that those games where you have to make passes forces you to get your eyes up, and it forces the other player to get open for you. Because you have to know where the players are. So it causes things to happen.
Yeah.
And you always used to say that. You make rules that cause things to happen that you want the result.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge, is developing especially games, because drills are drills. But you can do it in situation drills too. But to look around is just such a skill. Like Phillips looks around.
You talked about earlier, Tom, like I call it the maze drill, where everybody has a puck in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
And they got to execute skills and not run into each other.
Yeah.
And that's keeping their head up. Now, one thing I've added is everybody has a puck, and now they have to trade pucks.
Yeah.
So they have to see somebody, trade with somebody, they see each other.
Yeah, I've done that too.
But I'm just saying, as often as you and I do these things, we're looking to see it click when they play. And all the games I watch, very few players do I see hockey IQ being demonstrated in game situations. And I've watched a lot of midget AAA games.
I know those ones drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Even the Canadian women, a lot last year drove me crazy. I thought that at the end they pass the puck, but skating again, a stick length away from the boards most of the time, outside the dot, just playing outside the dot, and against the boards all the time, which really restricts your options, right?
Yeah. You run out of space too soon.
Well, that's where the defender wants you, right? If you're checking someone, you'll get a shot from there.
And who do you like in the NHL? Any team in terms of their hockey IQ, or are they all pretty much good at it?
Well, the team that impressed me the most was last week, Calgary playing Boston. Those players, everyone was using deceptive moves, and they support each other so well. I thought it was noticeably better than any team I've seen.
Boston?
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Just every guy was, doing tight turns and going backwards and moving and faking before they passed. And you know what I mean? It wasn't just straight line. Every team has guys that do that, but I thought as a team, Boston, I thought it was amazing how they played.
I bet you if they kept passing stats, and they do, but like you do, they would complete more passes than any other team.
Oh, I don't doubt that they would. It was noticeably better watching. It really was. They just, I thought they were on a different level, just as an overall team, because every line did it.
Yeah.
Not just the top line. Like probably the best passer in the league is Draisaitl.
Yeah.
He probably protects the puck better than anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was as good as he was until I saw the playoffs last year, because
Yeah.
I never seen him that often, Then I realized he can't get the puck off the guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty amazing.
How would
McDavid.
how would you describe top 3 hockey IQ players in the NHL? Who are they in your mind?
Well, I think based on stats, Huberdeau has to be one of them. At 85 assists last year. He's just, last night was the best game I've seen him. I thought he was handling the puck.
Yeah.
McDavid does it with speed. I think Draisaitl's up there, and maybe Erik Karlsson.
Yeah. Well, I've got one guy I put above all those guys, and that's Crosby.
Yeah, oh yeah, didn't even think of him.
Yeah. He has eyes, vision.
Oh yeah.
He knows what's available. And, Darryl Belfry mentioned the idea of passing to space.
Yeah.
And he said when they were playing, 4 of his guys were playing a game of keep away.
Yeah.
And he said that Crosby and Matthews were playing 2 other guys. And they never made a direct pass. They passed to space.
Yeah.
And so that's another level of thinking. We're hoping they'll make direct passes and complete them, but maybe direct passes aren't the option.
Well, I play like Mike Rogers, he's not a very big guy, and he scored over 100 points about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And he passes to himself.
Yeah.
And he does exactly that. He doesn't pass to where you are. He passes where you should be going to.
Yeah.
And he doesn't rocket them, eh?
Yeah.
He puts the pucks in the space, and you skate into this puck.
Yeah.
But if he goes down on a 1-on-2 or 1-on-1, he dumps the puck softly behind the guy.
Yeah.
And now the guy can't hit his stick or check the puck or anything. He's got to get him, eh? And he's a very slick, slippery skater.
Yeah.
And he just slides by and gets a puck again. And that, and that's how he did consistently, one of the top scorers in the NHL in his career there.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Passing to yourself has sort of become a popular theory today, where you just put the puck to an open space and go get it.
Yeah.
Versus trying to beat a guy.
I found that is the hardest thing for girls to do.
Yeah.
Is bounce it off the boards behind a D and go get it.
Yeah.
Like the say girls, they ice it all the time. Like, they have no touch to just, give enough weight that it'll just be there.
Yeah.
And,
Now I'm thinking of your kids, your U13s. And I don't know. It's like, do something different. Play a game of 2 versus 2 keep away, and they've got the whole zone. And they've got no direct passes, pass to space. I'm just, that came to my mind as a special rule.
Yeah.
To see if it'll transfer.
Well, Cassie could have done that with her little 2-on-2 yesterday.
Yeah.
She had the 2-on-2 on either side.
Yeah.
And they could have, she could have used that because it was keep away.
Yeah.
Until she blew the whistle, and then the other players.
Was there enough room when she did it? Or was it too crowded?
well, for what she did, it was enough room. But you could do that using the boards a lot.
Yeah. But I just like the idea of a whole zone, and you know that person can get open to a space by shaking the check.
Yeah.
And you're likely to have success with it if you do that.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
The first thing is the person with the puck has got to create space with deception and skating.
Yeah. And that's
Now,
the hard thing. That's the thing that I'm trying to do all the time, eh? And
yeah,
those like linear crossovers too, not
yeah,
skating in straight lines.
yeah.
But yeah, we don't get that much practice time, but we touch on as much as we can.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, nobody has outplayed us this season yet. The closest was in that first tournament, I think. Maybe that one team did outplay us and beat us. Edmonton, I think.
Yeah, they're big and strong. Yeah.
But we were, you know what? I think they lost to the White or tied the White, and we went in that game thinking they wouldn't be that good. I think because
Well,
we didn't work that game like we did the other games.
well, Tom, it's all relative. Like I'm watching all your games, and yeah, I agree with you. You're playing as well or better than the other teams, but it still isn't as good as I expect for the work you're doing.
Yeah, well, part of that is missing 3 or 4 players every time. You know, it's hard to, you know, and sometimes you lose track of who missed what.
That's the reality of it. You know, you're not going to have everybody there all the time. It's not a perfect world.
Oh no, but I'm saying that that restricts your progression too. You know, successful. You still do a progression, but if they didn't get stage A and now they come in and they've missed stage A and B and you're in stage C, it's hard to get. You only got so much time, and it'd be nice. It's just nice if people get to stages like you're talking about progression.
Yeah. Listen, I have to give you a drill Randy Cave did with the AA girls. You know your one-on-one angling checking drill in the neutral zone where you throw the puck to one side
Cross the ice. Yeah.
and the other D has to go to the red line and angle?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, he threw it to one side and it was 2-on-2 right away, a rush. And it really worked. That was something I'd never seen before. And his ice time was one of the best I've ever seen at that level to game like hard competitive drills. He just did a lot of good things. And he does 2 sessions a month with that AA team. And I went and talked to him after practice.
What AA team?
The Bantam AA girls, coached by Roberta, that Amy practiced with.
Oh, okay.
And I was really impressed with what he did. The first ice time he did his power skating stuff, which was good. Yeah. It's new, it's powerful. But he finished that session with games that were really good.
Yeah. Like he came on the ice with me one year there too.
I call that a 2-2-1, eh?
Yeah. And it's more of a soccer thing.
Yeah.
You got strikers, you got midfielders, and you got the sweeper.
Yeah.
And I think that would work with their team better.
Yeah.
Than playing this passive style.
Yeah.
and have those three players go back in the zone,
Yeah.
and the middle player be this, like the centerman on both sides,
Yeah.
and the two strikers, the two torpedoes up top. I think that would suit their team for the talent. But I did it 4 of the 5 years at SAIT, and we had all time.
Well, you did it with the Bantams, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it with the Bantams.
It worked pretty well.
Well, it works. The only problem with it is it's so structured. It's maybe for development, it's not the best style.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does work. It's very effective way to play.
Yeah.
Scotty Bowman played that for whatever. And then when I left Mount Royal, I went to Salzburg. The Red Bulls played it.
And when you say Scotty Bowman played it, are you saying he did the torpedo?
Well, he did the left wing lock, which is basically a torpedo. The left winger, was stayed on that side of the ice and locked on that side. So it's and when Terry came to Calgary, they traded for him. And that's the year 86 when Steve Smith scored on his own goal.
Yeah.
They were playing that. And that's why they got him. They needed a big defensive defenseman. So he was in the middle. He didn't like it that much because it was such different reads than the other way to play.
Yeah.
But they did it, and Bob Johnson did it for years.
Now, when you say did it, are you saying left wing or right wing lock?
No, the left wing.
Just the left, eh?
Yeah, and then with Scotty Bowman, the players in Detroit, they didn't like to be the left winger because they wanted to get involved more. So then what he did is he changed it as left side lock. So F3 was the left side lock.
Yeah.
The third player, the third forward in was that was his job. So instead of being high in the zone, he was over in the left side.
Yeah.
So, so that mean if you really wanted to forecheck hard, if you got in there, one of the first two guys, someone else was covering that.
Would that leave the middle open for breakout more?
It does, unless you play a tandem. So that's what I converted to, because Danielle Goyette really took advantage of it. And she was just popping a short pass up the middle all the time.
Yeah.
So then we went to a tandem forecheck, So the first player's on, second player's reading. Now, if they pop it up the middle, the second player has got that player. But if they go D to D, the second player goes there.
Yeah.
So it's basically that second player is playing the first pass.
Yeah.
Like first pass in the middle or D to D, because the two halfbacks got the walls.
Yeah. Tom, I've always wanted to ask you, you've watched a lot of coaches in a lot of different countries over the years. Who's the one that impressed you the most?
Well, it seems to me that right now, Jukka or Juha Jalonen might be the best coach in the world. The Finnish coach. He's won the world championship. I think he won the Olympics. He's ever since he's gone there, they're winning all the time. And I've watched a lot of his. I think I was at a conference he talked at, and I've a lot of video of him doing stuff. And he just seems to be a combination of really understanding the game and doing things that are really effective to teach it, and being a really good communicator.
Could he coach in the NHL?
Oh yeah, he speaks perfect English.
Yeah. Would he be accepted?
Oh yeah, because he knows his stuff. I mean, he just knows his stuff. I don't think he'd have any trouble at all. It's just such a different era now.
Yeah.
In the old days, it didn't matter how good you were; you weren't a Canadian. So,
Yeah.
But nowadays, I think if you can help guys be successful, so they're successful, then they get big contracts.
Yeah.
I think it does matter where you're from.
Yeah.
Because remember, Americans used to be looked down upon too, as skilled but soft.
Who is that?
Americans.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everybody said, oh, yeah, they can skate and stick handle, but they're soft. They don't compete hard enough.
Yeah.
That was kind of the way Americans were looked on.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all sort of labeled.
Yeah.
And we've probably paid the biggest price of labeling because it's prevented us from developing, high speed, high IQ hockey.
Yeah. But I think it's coming, though. I think people are open to ideas that'll help them. Most people are.
Well, the NHL right now, I don't know how much influence a coach has. I think his biggest job is to not interfere with the players and give them too much information, too much structure.
Yeah, I see that happening. I think sometimes the assistant coaches are too powerful because they kind of do the ice stuff now, eh?
Yeah.
And I think they have too much structure sometimes.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I could be totally wrong. But yeah, when they're playing a coach's game and they don't deviate and they don't read the plays.
Yeah.
You know.
I got a question about power play U13.
Yeah.
I was at the ice time where you guys scrimmaged against Wes's team, and you did a power play scrimmage.
Yeah.
And he asked me, on the spur of the moment, what do you want to talk to them? Well, here you are in the moment. You have to respond 2 minutes to talk about what they should do on the power play. And what do you teach? What do you give them at that age level that might be effective?
Well, what we do, because it transfers to 5-on-5, first of all, there's no use doing a 1-3-1. They don't have the skill set for 1-3-1, which is based on one-timers, right? So what we do is the overload because it transfers to 5-on-5. So they're on one side of the ice. There's a player, the outlet by the net. There's a player in front. They rotate.
Yeah.
And if you pass to the point, you want them to get inside the dot before they shoot.
Yeah.
So it's basically how we want them to play 5-on-5. So it's kind of like gives them some sort of structure to try.
Yeah.
Well, we worked on it. We've worked on it for like 20 minutes so far this year. So.
Yeah. See, in the spur of the moment, if I was to do it again,
yeah,
I didn't know what to say, but I know what I would say now to you, your team, and the other team. It said, look, we have 5, they have 4. Outwork them, outnumber them, possess the puck. Possession overrides position. Pinch to the goal line, D. Own the puck. And that's all I would say at that level. Versus who's your half boards player? Who's your net front player?
Well, we don't say who that is. We say there should be.
Yeah. Well, they'll all find those spots naturally, I think.
But I don't totally agree with that because I play with guys that it never happens because we have no structure. And guys are all over the fucking place. And if we had a little bit of structure, like when I've got the puck on being driven up the boards and they've got me, I want someone, an outlet below the goal line, right?
Yeah.
And it should be automatic.
Yeah.
But so I think you got to teach, just like you're talking about deliberate practice for other things.
Yeah.
There's got to you gotta say, okay, the person should have two kind of easy plays at any one time. So
Yeah.
what are the easy plays? It's usually a pass the point and pass low. Like if they've got you got no options, you got no plays. But if two players go and stand in front of the net, you got the center and the D on you. You need a release.
Yeah.
And hopefully you release and then you go to the net for a given goal.
Yeah.
So that's why we do the overload. And over the years it's worked with kids hockey teams.
Yeah.
That you do that, and like I said, we've hardly practiced it.
Yeah.
Because doing structured team play like that and you're missing 4 players, I mean, it's not going to happen because someone missed.
Yeah.
Every time you're on the ice, someone that's there, and it's usually, it seems our forwards miss, not our D don't miss very much.
Yeah.
But our forwards miss. Like the other day, Jim wanted to really work really about taking passes. He keeps bouncing off her stick. She's wide open, and they bounce off her stick.
Yeah.
And who doesn't come to practice?
Yeah.
Another practice, he wanted to work with 2 girls about something about puck support you're talking about, and they're not at practice, so you get pretty frustrated.
Yeah. So you don't think you're gonna coach this level again?
Well, I don't know. This is, this really limits what you can do if, like maybe if they made it an elite thing, the parents would be more, like I've done the AA, AAA and all that, and I've never had this many players miss on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So maybe if it was elite and you're traveling all over the province, all this kind of stuff, maybe they'd be there more. Because this is still like community hockey. But even when I coach Jim's, but the other thing is, when I coach Jim's community teams, we practice in a reasonable distance from our house. Not like, holy man, you go to that Vivo or whatever, then you go to Seaton.
Yeah.
They're like 50 kilometers apart or something. Like what?
Yes. Yeah.
Like
No, I agree. The reason I'm not going to all the practices, it'll depend on the location of the rink.
Yeah.
And when you guys practice together, I'll always come to the joint practices because I can see both teams and talk to both staffs. It's worth my while.
Yeah.
And I tell you, the most satisfying thing yesterday, I sent that email out in the morning because, I had watched your games and I watched Wes's games, and I saw the wingers are waiting too high. With your team, they're pretty good. For the most part, they're close to the hash marks.
Yeah, and Cassie worked on that yesterday.
Yeah, and when she sat down and worked on it, I think I texted that, and it was like, okay, I said something that I felt they would work on. That was for me very satisfying to see her do that because, if I come out, I don't know what to say or do. Like, and with Wes, this morning I got an email that I can get back to him on to share ideas. The kids are getting touches and repetition for skills. They're just not developing IQ.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with anything he does. It's just, if that's all you do, that's all you're developing. You're developing unopposed skills.
Yeah.
And the game is chaotic. It isn't, it's solving problems out of chaos. That's what the game is.
Yeah.
And I've said this 1,000 times. It's like when I did not learn French, the 4 years I took French in school, because that's how we learned French, or didn't learn French.
Yeah.
We learn how to write the words, spell the words, conjugate verbs, all these things. And we never spoke. We didn't know that two people talking to each other in French, eh? And
Yeah.
you know how my Austrian kids learned English? They watch TV with the German subtitles.
Yeah.
And they can all speak English. That's how they learned. I asked them. They said, well, we watch TV and the Germans in the bottom and they're speaking English, and that's how they learned English.
Well, I got a story, Tom. I took French all 3 years of high school.
Yeah.
And 1 year at university. And it was like you said, it wasn't practical.
Yeah.
So I end up going to Japan 10 years later, maybe 15. And I have to meet the team in Paris, or not in Paris, in Caen, France. So I fly to Paris thinking, oh, they're going to have somebody there to drive me to Caen.
Yeah.
Nobody was at the airport. Here I am with my hockey bag, all my luggage, because I'm going back to Japan for a period.
Yeah.
I had to talk French. So I went to a table to get advice. And with my French, I was able to communicate because the heat was on.
Yeah.
And
you're smarter than I am then, because I wouldn't have been able to.
Eventually, I took a taxi to the train station and took a train to Caen and arrived there and got to the hotel. And to me, that was the best thing that ever happened, is throw to the wolves.
Yeah. Well, that's why they have the French immersion, I guess, eh?
Oh, yeah. Boy, you're talking hockey. This stuff's priceless. So I'll go
Put a
through.
little thing yesterday in I put a TJ doing a breakout sequence.
Yeah.
I put on my Facebook yesterday because he did great things with the Flyers team.
Yeah.
And then I wrote about this one girl, Tess Adams. I don't know if you remember her.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and she had played A the year before.
Yeah.
And I liked the way she played, but nobody was that excited about her because she just played A, right? But I took her, and I thought she was our best player.
Yeah.
So I think someone took the triple, or I don't know why, but she went to Banff Academy the next year.
Yeah.
And then she went Div 3. She scored like about 70 goals in her 4 years and was the only one in that Div 3 to get drafted by the Pro League. And she's now an assistant coach in Div 3 in the States. But she was also the best player in their golf team.
Wow.
And yeah, and the thing is, she had hockey sense. She had nice moves, but she saw the ice. It wasn't just a big mystery to her.
Yeah.
So I wrote a little bit about it.
I guess
before I got on this team, eh?
Yeah. I'm just looking for some more hockey sense with the puck.
Yeah. Well, I think the games that Yuso, because he developed, the Koivus and Hanaverta and guys like that, and he always talked about, you have to know, you have to think one or two plays ahead.
Yeah.
And how do you develop that?
Yeah.
So may not be the only way, but it's the best way I've certainly found so far.
Well, I got this drill from my daughter.
Yeah.
It's a field hockey drill. And you can do it with an odd number. I would do it with 3 to start with, or 5 to start with. 1 carries the puck and passes to 2, who carries the puck, passes to 3. Now, this is the first step. is you can execute a tight turn and then pass to the receiver. They're all numbered. They're all numbered. And so 5 ends up carrying it and passing to 1. Deliberate tactical moves, evasive skating before you pass.
Yeah.
That's the traditional drill. Now the IQ part. 1 carries it.
Yeah.
Passes to 2, who touch passes to 3. 3 carries it. Passes to 4, who touch passes to 5. 5 carries it, passes to 1, who touch passes to 2. So with an odd number, you're deliberately practicing touch passing, thinking ahead. The receiver's got to get open, and you know where you're going to pass it because you know who the number is.
Yeah.
And they got to get open. So that's a drill to me that ties into thinking ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. You got to. You have to, you have to find that player.
Yeah. Right? Well, the player's got to find you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like they're off in no man's land in a game. They're getting open for you.
Well, that's the key is, that they have to get open, make themselves available.
Yes.
There's a big, like what I see in the hockey I play, people get being alone confused with being open. And they think, you didn't pass me the puck. And they're over there, but I would have had to pass through 2 sets of legs and over a stick to get it to them, right? So probably going to give the puck away. And I think that's, people get being open confused with being alone.
I'm going to write that down when I edit this video because that is a priceless quote.
Well, it's really common.
What's that?
It's really common.
Oh.
People, because I look around pretty good when I play. That's kind of one of my strengths is I, see the ice pretty good. And I'll look and I'll say, I can't get the puck to them. There's somebody in between us. And someone will come and say, I was wide open there. I say, well, not really.
No.
You're alone, but I couldn't get it to you.
Yeah. Well, Tom, with your kids,
yeah,
the most important thing I would do is you stand with the pucks, 1 puck, and they spread out in half the ice. And you tell them, are you open for a pass from me?
Yeah, I remember you doing that.
Yeah. And then you pass to maybe Cassie someplace else. And she said, are you open? But before she passes, you might move to a different location, but you got to get open for her. And she passes to you, and then you pass to a player. Everybody's got to get open to the player.
Yeah.
They're now open. They're now getting the picture. Everybody at once. Now I do this at coaching clinics because if the coaches don't get it, how are the players going to get it?
Yeah, very true.
So there's about 3 or 4 deliberate get open things, and that's the one I would do with both teams sooner than later because nobody gets open except in their end. They're pretty good at supporting the puck, and in regroup, they're pretty good at supporting the puck. But it's something to think about. All right, you take care, Tom. Thanks for the time.
Okay, thanks, Wally.
Next week, Hal Terse is going to be on.
Okay, he's been around a long time, eh?
Oh yeah,
I've known him for a long, long time.
He's got some interesting topics, so he's going to take the lead, and
Yeah.
we've just got to have questions for him.
Yeah, he'll be good because he,
Oh.
like I say, he's been around a long time. He was head of Minnesota hockey for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, you take care, buddy.
All right. See you, Wally.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.